"Someone is stealing, and we will find out who," I overheard as I walked into the break room where our two HR managers were alone talking. I had just come for coffee, but now immediately curious, I strained my ears, careful not to make it obvious. Two colleagues were discussing something evidently juicy, but had begun to whisper. One of them mentioned our company credit card, and my heart raced. Misusing it was an offense that could lead to immediate termination. Apparently, someone had racked up an outrageous bill at one of the most high-end restaurants in our city. The amount was more than some people's monthly salary, spent on luxurious meals, wines, and who knows what else. Why would anyone risk their job for a dinner? There was a silent debate in my head. Do I risk getting involved, or should I just keep my distance? But then the plot thickened. A third voice chimed in, suggesting it wasn't a simple case of misuse. Instead, they whispered about a possible setup. Could someone be trying to frame another employee? And if so, why? I looked over, and our HR executive had now joined the conversation. I continued fiddling with coffee, creamer, sugar, anything I could continuing doing to seem oblivious to keep listening. It was no longer about a dinner. It was about a potential conspiracy. The narrative in my mind began to spin. There was an employee everyone loved, a rising star in the company. If they got into trouble, it would create an open spot. Was this about ambition, jealousy, revenge? I pondered about possible suspects. There was that quiet intern, always lurking in the background, or that manager from the rival department, known for his cutthroat tactics. And what about the recent hire? She seemed too perfect. As they discussed how they would root out the culprit, our founder strolled in looking exhausted, like he'd been out partying all night. He comes over towards me and says, "I definitely need some of this," gesturing to the coffee. He took a sip and let out a loud sigh. "Okay, that's better." Then walks over to the group from HR, who looked nervous, and says, "Oh, if you see any crazy charges, that was me. We just closed a massive deal, and I hadn't had the chance to record the expense yet." They all looked simultaneously relieved and annoyed that their witch hunt was over.